So, here's the bolts that came out of the boat, looking pretty rubbish. These are the bolts I've bought. Now, I've got no problem with these. These are the bolts for the top of the motor pad. And these are for the motor pad, by the way, with the ring bolts to secure the motor pad onto. So those are fine. These, though, when I bought them, they told me they gave me the wrong ones because these are A2 stainless steel. So A2 is 304 and A4 is 316. And for boating, especially the sea, you've got to have 316 steel. Otherwise, it just rusts. You know, it's just not going to last 5 minutes. Now, when you're maybe putting something like these, which are actually 316 steel anyway, but, you know, lacing hook you can replace quite easily. But the motor pad bolts, you can't, especially if they start rusting, as you found out in my previous videos. So these, you can see, they do have markings on the top, but I'm pretty sure these are the original galvanized bolts, and when the galvanizing goes, they just rust. You can see the washers here are completely welded onto or rusted onto the bolt, and then this is a top bolt. I mean, look at that. That was an accident waiting to happen, so I'm so glad I got this out. The other bolt wasn't so bad, but the reason I couldn't get this bolt off the nut off the bolt was it's just completely it's rusted. It's welded on, basically. And then look at the thread. There's just no thread left here or here. So, and that's where I cut the bolt, which came out the back of the boat. So, yeah, that was time to be replaced, wasn't it? Without doubt. So anyway, Drascombe sent me some new bolts, but they're exactly the same as these bolts. Well, these bolts are actually exactly the same bolts as are in the rudder stock to hold the rudder onto the tiller onto the rudder stock. So that's what they were explained to me as. I thought that makes sense. A2 steel on that wouldn't be a big deal. So I've now got these 4 bolts that are all A2 steel, and that's not going to be good enough. I want to replace these with A4 steel. So it's going to be a quick trick to C-screw to find some bolts like this that we can use to replace the lower bolts. They've all got nylon lock nuts, so I'll probably get some nylon lock nuts. I don't even know what these washers are, but again, you don't want these to be 304. I imagine they are A2 304. So we need to get some washers as well. You can see the washers are the right kind of size, and I do think we need washers both sides just to ease the strain on the fiberglass. But anyway, they're the bolts. We need to get some new ones of these, and then we can just get the motor pad on when we're next down at the boatyard. So there's bolts for you. This is the new motor pad, and as you can see, I've tried to sand it down. I don't like this finish they've put on it. They put I forget what it's called now, but it's a particular finish. What I wasn't happy about was the colour, but now the colour is going to match a little bit better with the wood. However, I've now part sanded it, so I just need to get the big sander out to do this properly, because it's just not working with my little one. I need a lot more oomph to get this done. So I'm pretty sure I can sand this down quite quickly. We'll get it sanded. The other thing was, it was really, really rough on the corner. Even this corner here, it's super rough and nasty. So, you know, it's Iroquois, but it does need sanding down. But these will then fit the bolts. And I am told that we need M10 bolts. So, but these M10 bolts are really tight in here, but they will screw in by the looks of it. So that's probably what we're going to have to do, is screw them in. Man, this is a job I wish I'd never started. I've kind of got all this stain off as best as I can. I think we won't know for sure until we start putting the oil on. So I'm going to leave these, I can't get into these, I'm going to leave the little bolt pads as is. But you can already see when I'm putting the, just cleaning it with acetone here, you can see the colour of this wood is pretty similar, if not identical to the colour of the wood on the boat already. So that's all I wanted to do. I thought that the reason for doing this is because it just didn't match at all. Like, it was an eyesore, to be frank. Let's see what it looks like. And remember, once it's on, it does sort of darken the wood. Yeah, I think this is going to look a lot better. And I don't know, I can't remember what's on, what they put. They supply it with something on it already, and I can't remember what it's called, but it kind of is the thing I like about this Deks Olje is it penetrates the wood, whereas the stuff that was on it didn't seem to penetrate it. It seemed to be kind of on the surface of it. So I'm hoping that the Deks Olje will sort of soak in where that's been. I'm going to have to maybe leave one end of it unfinished, and we'll just have to go round and round. Yeah, we'll leave this end unfinished that's on the floor now, so we can do most of it, and then we'll just, once it's sort of dried a little, we can flip it over and do the other end that it's resting on. So we can just do this. There we go. So we'll leave that. To dry, cure, whatever it does, and then we'll come back to it probably tomorrow, see if we need another coat.